Oh, you're such a cute little doggy.
How's it going? Mom, my track rate for pet mortality is questionable, to say the least. I mean, it's not that I want them to die, it just sort of happens. Usually before they're meant to in their lifespan. The first pet I remember having is a rooster with feathers around his neck that gave him the appearance of a lion. Look it up. He would walk around and be a very good leader as far as my child brain could fathom. However, as is often true in human existence, over time people grow apart, as is the case with the men and chickens. Unlike most of the pets which I'm going to speak of, to my knowledge, Chicken Chief died just from being old, but I could have been lied to in regard to this. My next pet was a puppy dog. Let me fill in details. On a dark and stormy night, I think, a dog was found around the place where we live, and as all families do when the father of the house is not home, we let her in. Sometime later, this dog gave birth to more dogs, most of which were female, but one was male. Like me! We had something in common. We could relate to each other. A few months later, my dad said we could keep the male dog as an Easter present, and everything was fine, until it wasn't. My recollection of the series of tragic events is as follows. So we were loading the other puppies up to go to the dog collection location when my sister comes in and says, "What's up, homie? Our mom said I could play with the male outside." And then I was like, "Oh, groovy." None of those words or whatever. So we were out there, and after a little bit, my sister leaves. So me, being the child who wants to do what I perceive to be the correct decision at this current time, take the dog and put it by the house, next to a toy car ramp thing. This will keep him safe, my ignorant child brain says to itself, but little did I know. Just as every Spider-Man variant must lose his uncle, all villager officer variants must lose their puppy. So Mr. Porky crawls his way towards the car for no good reason, going right beside the wheel, I think, and gets his little body crushed. But don't worry, we got to keep one of the females instead, before she too died just a few years later. And don't worry about the mother, because just a few more years after the death of her only child who hadn't been ripped away from her, in an obvious state of healthy mental health, she gets run over. Welcome to real life, kids. Yeah, so the moral of the story is YouTube video intros are a lie, and don't leave your puppy dogs unattended outside. Okay. I'm okay. Moving on. Do you like boards? I certainly do. Specifically the small ones that move in those quick stop motion movements, which is probably where we got the idea for it in the first place. So anyway, one day I see our cat attacking and trying to eat this little board who is running for his life. So desiring to do the correct thing in this current present time, I take him home. Try to put a bandage down to the wing, I think, and put him in a cage. He'd do this funny terrifying thing where he'd try to fly, fall on his back, and then freak out, where I would then be required to put him back up. Good times. Anyway, his wing had been twisted, and I think I couldn't twist it back or something, and after a while, I'd gone to do something else, where when I came back, he was dead.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But don't worry. This story has a bright side to it, for whenever I went to dispose of the body, who would be nearby but the cat, who quickly made like a magician and forced the body to disappear. Up next, a baby rabbit who looks like he was sleep deprived. Poisoned at infancy. Before that, going back in time again, a horse who died off screen. And finally, last but not least, a stick. Yeah, so this stick was my best friend, but then one day he just went missing. I wonder who's responsible for that. Yeah, I don't know. But believe it or not, this story does actually have a kind of sort of happy ending to it. You see, around the time of the rabbit, we had pigs, one of which was a little baby who was appropriately named Wilbur, and after some discussions, he was allowed to live, which he still is to this day. He doesn't do much, but hey, he's alive. Oh yeah, also another dog comes around the land and she became my pet, but then I gave her to the same sister who wanted to play with my original dog all those years ago. So if you're afraid of losing pets, click here where I rank humanity's biggest fear, and comment below your own tragic pet adventure.